Seems like you might have a struggling friendship to deal with right now, otherwise you probably wouldn't have clicked on this video. Let me explain you how to save you or your friendship, or maybe both, because it's very important to understand that sometimes you cannot save both. Because the first thing you should understand is that there are definitely friendships which are better off if they are not existing anymore for you personally. Because, for example, if there is a friendship which is completely draining you from the inside, because you're not capable of being with this person and spending time with the person or communicating with the person or whatever, it is better off to be cancelled. Because the first thing you should understand that it is very important for any kind of friendship to be both-sided. That the energy which is put into the relationship between two people, and that has not only meant to be a loving relationship between two people who maybe want to marry each other one day, it also is happening between normal friends, like these kinds of relationships. And it's very important to understand that it has to give the same energy in both directions. I had a friendship a few years ago where I had the feeling that this energy is not going into both directions. And the better ending for this friendship was definitely to end it for me personally. My friend was very shocked when I openly spoke to him and told him about my concerns about our friendship. And, well, since that discussion, we never saw each other again. And I know for a fact that I'm better off without him now. Because it was a friendship from school. From school where you spend time with people you were not able to choose, and where friendships built that you were maybe also not particularly choosing. And this friendship definitely showed me that not every friendship is a blessing. And third thing you need to understand is to accept this truth that there are definitely friendships which could not be healthy for one side. And maybe the other side is not thinking the same. And maybe the other side sees this friendship as the best friendship in the world. But you as a part maybe see it completely different. And then you should change something about it. And it does not always have to be completely canceling the friendship, because one thing you need to understand as well is that communication makes a very, very big difference. You need to be communicating your concerns or your problems to the other side. So if you have a normal platonic friend, but you feel that you cannot share your problems with him because you have the feeling that he might judge you for it, or he is not very helping you with your problems, then you should openly talk to him about this, because it's a concern you have about your friendship. And if he is concerned about your friendship still being as impactful as it was before, he should also be very, very concerned about your problems when you tell him your problems. And if he's not, then you need to make adjustments and maybe consider him as a friend in it of itself. But until that point, you definitely need to communicate your concerns. And this is the first step to make better friendship and make your current friendships better. And not only friendships, but also relationships to partners, or your relationships to your co-workers, or to your boss, or to people in work, whatever. And it's very important to consciously invest this time into thinking about, okay, which friendship is helping me right now, and which relationship to other persons are maybe draining me and draining my energy. Because when you think right now about the 5 people you spend your most time with, you will definitely have a few ones or you will have like 1, 2, which are draining you more. You will directly think about these 1 or 2 people. And on the other hand, there will definitely be persons which are not draining your energy, which are more, where you have the feeling that they are more giving you energy back. And to have this clarification, which person is more giving you the energy and more draining your energy, is very, very important. Because then you need to consciously figuring out what's the reason for that. And when you figure that out, you can, as I said, talk about it with the person to try to fix this problem. Or you need to cut out that person from your life if it's too bad. And if it's too bad, you need to be respectful to yourself and respecting your own boundaries, and do the right things you conclude out of these thoughts. Because a good friend is paying attention to you, and a good friend will respect your boundaries. And when you have a problem with any kind of friend, and you tell him, well, this and that is a problem I have right now with our friendship, and I wished it would be more like this, for example. A good friend will hear that, respect it, and do the best he can do to fix this problem you see in the relationship. And if he's just not a very good friend, he will just find excuses and tell you, I don't think I see it like you do, or maybe it's not like you think it is, because I really care about you, and in the end he definitely is not showing this really good to you. And a good friend hears your concerns, thinks about it, and wants to change something about his doings and how he treats you and your friendship to make it better. And this is the very, very big difference. But to figure this out, you need to communicate with them, and you need to talk to them. And by that, you can also check the energy flow. Like I said before, how do I feel the energy when I spend time with this person? Is it draining me my energy, or is it giving me energy to maybe fulfill better things in life, to be more active or whatever? This is very, very important to consciously think about this energy flow and think about the persons who are giving you energy and who are taking your energy. And very important to that is that you are accepting a change, because there are things that will change. When you have the feeling that you want to change something, because many persons have the feeling that they want to change something in the first place. Everybody would agree with me if I say, well, I want to change X, Y, Z, and I want to be more rich or whatever. But the fewest people actually change something. Do you understand it? Many people want to change something in the first place, But very, very few people really want to change something, because the actions not reflecting the will they might have. But if you really want to change something, that's a different thing. And to better your friendship, you definitely need to change something. In the first place, I would recommend you to talk to them and be open with your feelings. And in the second part, if this is not leading to a better friendship, you definitely need to cut out a few people, maybe. Because you can also recognize very toxic patterns. If people are constantly criticizing you, or if they are trying to manipulate you into maybe doing something which is benefiting them, or into thinking bad about other people, or if they lift themselves up in the sky and talk about themselves very, very good, that you have the feeling that they are the best persons on earth, for example. And these toxic patterns and these manipulative behavings is, for me personally, a sign that you should let go of them, and that these people are friends with you or are not in a relationship with you because they care about you and they like the back and forth and like the benefits which the friendship is giving to each other. They just see the friendship benefiting themselves, and this is the most important thing to them. And when you recognize these toxic patterns, you need to take action. This is so important. Very, very important lesson in there, my friends. And when you recognize that, I promise you, you will be happier in the end. Even if it's maybe hard to let go of these friendships, which in the first place might seem not too bad, in the end, you will recognize how much they are draining you. And you don't always have to hurt them by being mean when you tell them that you don't want to be friends anymore, for example. You can just try to let it fade out slowly, so you don't text them all the time, or you don't have time or make time for them to see each other all the time, and try to slowly fade it away. And even if you still have the conversation with them, if it might change something because you're not happy with the treating you get from them, you can try to be honest with them, which is very, very important, but you don't need to hurt them. This is very important because many don't understand, and they think it's like very black and white, that you either keep the friendship and everything stays the same, or you have a 180-degree switch and it's completely different. You need to be mean to them, and you need to be disrespectfully honest with them and tell them this is bad, and be very aggressive with it. But it's not this black and white. It's always a gray scale, and you can tell them things you are not happy with, and this doesn't have to be mean. You can just tell them like, hey, I have the feeling that you do not really care about me that much, and I don't feel like I get the energy back in this friendship like it should be. And when you tell them these things, you will see by their reaction if they can understand it, or if they, as I said, are just looking at themselves and how they benefit from the friendship. Because I had a similar example in my friend group very, very lately, where one of our friends went through a breakup. And we all called him, we all told him, hey, let's see each other, you're going through a hard time, let's just get some things out of your mind and help you with this. And yeah, he had a very hard time because it was a very, very long relationship, and we cared about him. But one person didn't. One person didn't text him. One person didn't call him. And even after seeing each other randomly on the streets in the evening, on the weekend, they barely spoke to each other very, very quickly. And the friend who went through the breakup, he confronted him with the treatment, and he said to him, like, well, I was not very happy with you not reaching out, and I was not very happy that you didn't recognize how bad it was for me going through this breakup. And the friend just replied like, well, I didn't thought it was that bad. I think you didn't showed up last time we wanted to see each other as well, and you just cancel our meeting a few days ago and blah blah blah. And he was just talking himself out of the uncomfortable situation he was in, where he got confronted by his friend. And when he told me that, so not the friend we now kicked out of our friend group, more or less, but the friend who went through a breakup, I could not believe what he was saying, because this just showed that he was just thinking about his self. And he also went through a breakup a few years ago, and we were all there for him as well. We went go play bowling, we went out for a weekend. Few of us also made a boys trip for the weekend to another country. And he got over it very, very good. And now when he needs to help one of our other friends, he is not doing the same. And this is what showed us what he's about. And then we just confronted him with it. He was not very, very insightful as well. And he said, I don't see the problem with it. And then we just started to not invite him anymore. And now things are as they are. And you not always need to make these hard cuts. You can just let it fade out. But sometimes it's better to end some friendships to save yourself. Goodbye.